Parshas Vayairah, if we look at the Parsha in connection to the Parshios around it, there's a remarkable difference between the three Parshios of Lech Lecha, Vayairah, and Chayei Sarah. The first few words of Lech Lecha are Vayamar Hashem El Avram. The first three words of Parshas Chayei Sarah, Vayu Chayei Sarah, Me'ah Shana. However, Parshas Vayairah starts off without mentioning Avram Avinu's name. Vayairah Elov Hashem Be'elamei Mamrei. That's a rather unusual way to start a parsha. We're talking about who are we talking about? We're talking about Avram. If we go back to the end of Lech Lecha, Avram's name is not even in the last pasuk. It's in the pasuk before it. B'yetzem hayom hazeh nimal Avraham. Then it says Vayoma Elav. How come? How come it uses a pronoun? Hashem appeared to him. So the Sefer Otzer Playas HaTorah, a wonderful Sefer which I've quoted many times, brings down a fascinating minhag. It's not a halacha, it's a minhag. That it's a rather important thing to know, which I did not know, is that when a person is visiting a chola, you should not say his name in his presence. Should not say his name in his presence. He brings it down from Yalkut Ru'uveni. That's a Chidush Nepele, brought down, quoted by Yalkut Ru'uveni, a sefer called Sodei Razaya. If someone goes in to visit a choila, should not mention him by name. Should say, Yishavu Shlema, how are you? What can I do to help you? Let me help clean up the room a little bit. The Ramban writes, very important thing, to help keep the place clean and neat. It's a Ramban, that's a Rishon. The person should make it his business to clean up the house. And that helps the choila get better. In fact, it's a Gemara in Nedarim. And people did not come to visit him. Rabbi Akiva came in and was mavakeh him, and he helped to clean him and clean the room. And he said, Rebbe, Hechi Yisani, Gemara in Nedarim Daf Mem Amar Aleph. So there are a number of things you do on a Bikur Cholim visit, but one of the things you don't do is you don't mention his name, and that's exactly what happens here. Vayera Elav Hashem. It doesn't say Vayera El Avram. To show you, to teach you, Kadosh Baruch Hu did not mention his name when he came to visit him. The Magen Avram, Paisek, writes the name of the Maharil, a very early Paisek, quoted in Rashi many, many times. This is the Lashon. If someone is Mavakesh Rachamim on his friend, you don't have to mention his name. That's only in front of him. But if it's Mispalel not in front of him, then you should mention his name. And as we all know, we mention the name and the mother's name. Chassam Sofer writes, Masechta Nedarim, when a person mentions a choila's name, there is a hisayrus of din on him. Therefore, it's a hefsed through that mentioning of his name to say his name there. So we'd rather avoid saying his name. Good thing to know. Good thing to know. Now, another point that he brings up here from a sefer Tamei HaMinhagim, which we know this sefer, another possibility is, if we see that there may very well be a Gezar Din against Reuven ben Yaakov, it would be important not to mention his name at a Bikur Cholim visit. One of the techniques we have to disrupt that, aside from this one, is to change his name so that the Gezar Din against Reuven ben Yaakov is not the same thing as a Gezar Din against Reuven Raphael, for example, ben Yaakov. So when we change the name, that Gezar Din is no longer applicable to this person because this is a different person with a different name. Okay? Now, another fascinating aspect of this, brought down by the Munkach Rebbe, the Minchas Elazar, Schus Young and Aleinu, and is mentioned in number of his descendants, is when we make the Misha Barak for a choila in shul. As I mentioned a moment ago, I don't know if you got it on tape, I mentioned Rabbi Olbaum brought this up a number of years ago, and we in our shul changed our minhag based on this Munkach Rebbe minhag. We make a Misha Barak, Yishberach's name is Yaakov Yivorech Es. The Lashon in every siddur says HaChola, and then they give the names. I've actually raised this in other shuls. Some of them listened to me, most of them did not. Doesn't matter. Don't want to label this person as a chola. And brought down a number of sfarm, which he mentions here. One of them is Darkei Chaim V'Shalom. Chazal say Masechta Shabbos. A person should always be mavakesh rachamim, that he should not get sick. Okay? And if we do, chas v'shalom, someone gets sick, we say to him, Hava zechus v'hi pater. Find a zechus. So once we say choila, we're being mekayim that is his status. That's not a schus. That's cementing him into that category of chola. Therefore, it's a very, very excellent suggestion that you can just leave out the word, and we've done it, and we've done it for many years. When you say to Mishaberach, whoever's a Gabbai here who hears that, you're more than welcome to follow this minhag, or at least bring it up with your local Orthodox rabbi. I can show it to you in Rabbinic. The point being is, a person's name is that person. We know that that's a very important inyan when a baby is born, to give a name that's appropriate for him and will be a zechus for him. We don't want that same name, chas v'shalom, to be a chayva to him. So therefore, chas v'shalom situation changes. We have to follow these very simple, I think, rules, and these will help him have a refuah shalema. All of the cholim and klai yisrael should have a refuah shalema b'mheira, and all the healthy people should stay healthy and be gesund and stark. Get Shabbos.